Hello there, welcome back to another fragrance related review. So today I have another house series, and in this particular house series today I'm featuring a fragrance from an Indian house created by a fellow frag head called as Scentari. Now Scentari is a relatively new fragrance house in India. This is by Mayank, my fellow frag head, and I thought let's review this particular fragrance house because they have been doing some excellent work. Okay, first of all, just look at the presentation. So they've got a nice paper box, very basic paper box, but at the back they talk about the notes and the perfume content being 30 ml, and best part is they have mentioned the notes of their fragrances. Now this is not a clone house, and what they've done is basically they've taken inspiration from some fragrances and changed their DNA, probably fused a couple of DNAs and built their own line of own creations. Okay, now they've done some fantastic work. When I said about presentation is because you also get this beautiful band. Now this particular band is basically a way of this is how the box kind of comes, so it's tied to it like this. It makes it look very, very appealing, very nice, and at the price point in which it is coming, this is a big surprise. Now look at the bottle itself, nice artwork on the bottle, and the cap also has got artwork. So all of this is done really, really well, and I have 5 of their fragrances, and I thought let me talk to you quickly about each one of them and give you an idea what kind of fragrances they are. Okay, so let's talk with the most popular one that I kind of liked from their line, which is basically this is called the Island Vibes. Let's get Island Vibe. So this is Island Vibe, and it's got this nice artwork of a mountain with some a sun and all of that. So it's a nice island, so it kind of gives you a hint that it's a fresh citrusy kind of a fragrance. Now this is a fragrance that's very, very nicely done because it performs really long for me, and that's one of the reasons I like it. Plus the scent profile of the fragrance is really good. Now this is a fragrance that's got a bit of that orthoparesis, megamere type of a vibe, where you have a good nature of ambroxan musk going ahead with a nice amount of citrusy, fresh, fruity vibes as well. So that way this particular fragrance really works well, and you kind of get a very good scent profile, which is lightly sweet, fruity. It's got a nice amount of musk, ambroxan that's throwing in the air, and it lasts like very nice. So it projects for about 2 to 3 feet easily, and it does last an entire day for me. So 8 to 9 hours is something that I was getting on this particular fragrance, which I did not expect. Now, like it talks about it's a fruity, aquatic, fresh kind of a fragrance. So the musk, ambroxan element, the out loud cologne marine type of a vibe is very nicely captured, and it's a good fragrance to consider that way. It's like I said, it's an inspiration behind that particular note profile of Megamere, and it's not an alt of that, right? But on the whole, you get a very nice fragrance for a price point. Now, surprisingly, let me talk to you about the price point since we're talking about all of them. This is available for about 530 to 650 rupees. Within that price point is where he has launched all of these 30 ml fragrances, which are really, really good. Okay, so pretty nice considering the quality of the fragrance and of course the scent profiles. Okay, now one is definitely a good fragrance to consider is Island Vibe, which is a freshie. Another freshie to also consider is called Nebula Spark. Now Nebula Spark looks like this. Now this is a fragrance that's got good amount of citrusy, fruity vibes. It's again I feel it's got hints of Louis Vuitton's La Immensité, along with some amount of Afternoon Swim or Imagination, that kind of DNA. I feel more towards the lines of Afternoon Swim and definitely La Immensité, which has got that fruity, citrusy, that kind of a vibe, which is also very, very nice. Now in here, this is a little more sweeter is what I feel, and it smells nice. It's very fresh, very refreshingly good. Now this one for me lasts about 5-6 hours and projects for about 2 feet, unlike Island Vibes, which lasts a little more longer. Okay, so Nebula Spark is again a good type of a citrusy fragrance to consider, whereas this is more musk oriented, more fruity that way. This is a citrusy, fruity, marine type of a concoction that's coming together. Right now, that is Nebula Spark and Island Vibes. Now let's talk about a nice barbershop fragrance. This fragrance is called as Noble Barber. Okay, now this is a fragrance that's got a good amount of lavender, it's got good amount of rosemary, it's got some good amount of spices element. It gives you a feeling of any of your typical barbershop fragrances, but it's slightly sweeter and it's more lavender, powdery talcum kind of a dominant fragrance. Now this smells very nice when you put it on, right? So when you spray it for the first 30-40 minutes time, it smells very nice. After that, it starts to go linear, and this performs for about 3 to 4 hours time only is what I would say. But it's a very nice, clean, citrusy, aromatic type of fragrance with a good amount of talcum, powdery element to it. And if you're looking for a entry-level barbershop fragrance, you can kind of give this a thought. This is on the lines of, let's say, for example, Jacques Bogart, or if you think about Platinum Egoist, it's in those kind of a DNA, where you kind of, think about as a reference point for this particular fragrance where it sits, right? So, but it's a pretty decent fragrance, or, as such to consider if you like a barbershop fragrance. Next one, let's talk about a fragrance which is very nice in its scent profile. This is called as Antique Vetiver. Okay, now they have also done some very good artwork as well, and that's something where you should definitely give credit. Now this is a fragrance that's got a good amount of freshness. It's got a good amount of green grassy elements, and of course a little bit of that herbaceous spicy type of an element. This is a vetiver based fragrance, and of course there's a good amount of vetiver. It kind of makes you feel like you're smelling something on the lines of green Irish tweed with a little bit of original vetiver. That kind of a DNA is what you kind of get, because Creed vetiver is got that nice spicy element, but then green Irish tweed has got that nice green grassy lemon verbena type of a vibe, and I think that's what you kind of get, a very fresh, spicy, grassy vetiver type of a fragrance. Now in here again, the performance is about 4 to 5 hours time. Lasting is about decently, I would say, about 4 to 5 hours, but projection is about 1 hour to 1.5 hours is what I would say. One of the fragrances that really stood out for me was Santel Dynasty, and I absolutely enjoy this particular fragrance because I was always looking for a fragrance that can replicate the smell of Mysore sandal soap. So if you are in India and if you like sandalwood soap, especially if you're from Bangalore and Karnataka, you would have definitely smelled Mysore sandal soap somewhere or the other. That's a soap that you would typically see. And that is one of those soaps, when you have a bath and you come out with that, everybody in the house knows that you had a bath because it's so good. The scent profile is so good. Santel Dynasty is like that, right? And I liked it very much for that reason. It typically smells exactly like a Mysore sandal soap. In fact, Mayank was talking about telling that it's also got some percentage of natural sandal oil also used in its creation, right? So that way it smells very creamy, woody, beautiful sandalwood, nice, creamy texture to it, very good scent profile. The only flaw with this one is this one doesn't last long. It does only about 2 hours to 2.5 hours at max. For the first 1 hour, it's pretty good. In fact, you will absolutely enjoy the moment you put it on. For the first 30-40 minutes, it's really good. It doesn't last after about 2.5 3 hour mark. That's the only con side about this particular fragrance. But maybe if I give it some time to macerate for a few months, it might be well. But because it's been with me for about a month's time, and I think in that time I get about decently about 2.5 3 hours time. It's also possible because it's got natural oil mixed with this particular fragrance. That's also another reason why the lasting might be a little lower, is why I think. Okay, because most of the other elements are synthetic elements that are tweaked to last longer, so that way it works well. So on the whole, I kind of like what they're doing. They're changing the game in which fragrance houses are coming to India, because typically everybody's coming out with clone fragrances, but here what they've gone for is fusion of two fragrance DNAs and trying to create something unique, something something that you always wanted to try. Okay, if I layer this and this, what would you get? Something like that, and at a price point which is about less than 650 rupees. Getting all of these is fab, and I'll put in the link in the description below for you to get your fragrances from them. So yes, very decently priced, very good presentation, very good fragrances, some hits, some misses. So it's a new house, they will change over time, they will get better over time, and definitely, like I said, we can support them to build a better scent community, right? So if you like the kind of video that I bring and the new houses that I bring, please hit the like button, subscribe and share, and follow us for more fragrance related content. So until another time, take care. Bye now.